Hello, members of the Nevada State community. It's so good to be with you, and I hope you're doing well this last week in May as we look to a rapid end to the fiscal year, but also a very busy one because we seemingly have more going on now than we maybe even had a couple weeks ago. I want to offer a few updates to you about things that are happening, and more importantly, invite you to be in communion with me on a few other things that are important to us right now. Let me start off by saying thank you to each of you for the work that went into making our commencement this year one of the most memorable that we've had at Nevada State. It was well organized and executed. It was wonderfully participated. The energy in the room was powerful. And for us to have this moment is almost sacred as an academic institution to pause and to celebrate the manifestation of our mission. Students who are earning their undergraduate and graduate degrees from us is really for us this moment of saying what we have done to help empower, to help be a part of a student's experience comes to life. So thank you to each and every one of you who participated, and also to the wonderful team of marketing, special events, communications, everyone behind the scenes that made it look as flawless as it was. My heart goes out to each of you for that. In addition, because we've kept things going after we celebrated employee recognitions, we went into just this past week recognizing and announcing our First and Fierce program. Now, many of you have been hearing for the last year and a half, we've been talking about our continued work around first-generation college students. We know that as an institution, we specialize in this population. Very important to this, we had multiple efforts happening across the institution, whether it be our TRIO programs, Nepantla, you name them, Sankofa, all of them really targeting programs that looked at the experiences and needs of first-generation students. I'd like to say that this is going to become one of our distinctive brands as an institution. And First and Fierce is an umbrella program, a term that allows us to really think about how we as an organization are designing and redesigning ourselves intentionally for the over 50% of our students who come to us who are first in their family pursuing a college education. First and Fierce will become our trademarked role in terms of describing our intentional work in this space. Thanks to an anonymous donor who is investing a $5 million gift, but $4 million of that going directly toward the work of First and Fierce. This is going to allow us to have a targeted outreach program, an experience that we want all students to have, including a space, but also helping to set them and their families up for success, because what this program really is about generational wealth and family impact. So I'm excited about this. You'll be hearing more about this as we look at ways in which we start to actualize this, and very grateful to a donor who said, I believe in Nevada State, and I happen to think that some of the best things that happen in higher education space in this state will come from this institution. So I want to thank our donor, but also thank all of you for the work we've already been doing around first-generation students, what we will do under the umbrella of First and Fierce, and the way that we're going to change the narrative about higher education in this state simply by the work that we do at Nevada State. Now, something that is equally taxing and has a lot of work going on for us is the legislative session. I'm a living witness, y'all, that it is getting real right now. We are, as I understand, 13 days left as I record this now to the end of the session. So there's a lot of important things happening right now. Continuing to see movement around our renaming legislation, the budget that's going to continue to go forward, and then hopefully some additional work as we all continue to advocate for those other things that are important, in particular for us around capital projects. So I ask all of you, whether it be data that we may ask about nursing, data that we may ask about student experience, things that we need to be able to describe about how our employees might be impacted when we don't have certain resources, all of those things are important to make sure that we are representing this institution, our students well, and a part of a system that believes deeply that hopefully all 8 institutions deserve the right to thrive and survive in this space. So I thank each of you for what you're doing and what you will do. And I will be available for celebration moments come June 5th at midnight, because it's going to be a lot until that point. I also want to say that we are preparing on June 5th to have the last day of the legislature. That week kicks off the quarterly meeting of the Board of Regents. For us, compared to the last meeting in March, it's a fairly light one as far as I know. The board chair has asked us to provide an update on MG52, so we'll do that and to continue to, not a lot of movement has been made in that space, but we want to be responsive to that request. We're going to take some changing in the management of housing for us that'll go to that space as a result of bondholders and the work that they have asked us to do there. And then very proud that ARSA is going to be seeing and hearing our first presentation regarding our Masters of Nursing program. So I want to thank all the folks who are actively engaged in this. If other things pop up, I'll let you know, but that's really what I know at this particular point. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to pause. I think that any time in a history of an organization when you lose, whether it be an employee, a colleague, a friend, a student, someone who believes deeply in the work that we do, you have to pause. And as I literally said to someone this morning, the loss of a friend and a colleague and someone that we love dearly, who was a student, an alumnus of this organization, who was an employee of this organization, who so many of us loved profoundly. It is okay to mourn. We are supposed to mourn. He deserved our tears, and as an organization, we are not supposed to be the same after someone that we loved leaves us. That being said, also as an organization, we will heal. And that is a part of the journey. We want to acknowledge that. There are things that we're going to learn about ourselves in this process, and I want to thank you for that. I also want to continue to ask you to extend the grace that you are known for as an institution to each other, because we know that each of us grieves and mourns differently. We know there's an organization that we are trying to figure out how we wade fine through this moment, but also how we make sure that we are taking care of each other. As an organization, that is profoundly important. Emmanuel was very special to me, and I am profoundly impacted by his life. I'm profoundly impacted by his death, but I'm also know that I am in communion with you on that, because there are many members of our community that are also doing that. Practice grace, be patient with each other, and know that we're all in this together. We do know that there are a series of events that are also being planned. I know that Phoebe, our chair of our classified council, is wanting to put together some type of remembrance. I know our advancement team is working on some things that we have done as a ritual or protocol around our institution. And then I know the family is also still in the midst of soliciting support to help them as they go through this moment, but also are planning final services to celebrate the life of this very important Scorpion. So you'll be hearing more information about that as it becomes available. So my ask of you, each time I do this, I ask one, and maybe right now it's just a simple one: to take care of yourself. There's that old saying that you see oftentimes when you are on a plane, and they ask us when there is a moment of a trauma or a drama, whatever the case may be, in the oxygen mask drop down, they say make sure you secure the mask on yourself before you take care of others. I'm going to ask you to do that right now, and I'm going to practice that. We've got a couple more weeks of some very intense work, and I'm hopeful after we complete the legislative cycle this year and after we get through the June Regents meetings, I'm going to be working on taking some time for myself to do the regrouping and planning for this next year that is required, but also to protect and heal my soul. And I hope that you all would take the time to do that as well. There's a quote Mother Teresa is known for saying. She said, "The way you help heal the world is you start with your own family." So take care of yourself, check in on families and friends, make sure you pay attention to those who are smiling hardest and are the most quiet, as well as those who are loud and those who are carrying their pain and anger face forward. That's all a part of the work that we do, as being in communion with each other. Thank you all for all that you're doing, and I look forward to talking with you next month. Be well.